Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Here.
Fluharty,
Here.
Saunders,
Here.
Rhodes,
Here.
Spinks, here, Cochee,
Here.
Mezek.
Here.
Get my eyes on and get going here. Council, you have the minutes of the work session of September 4th, 2018. Any corrections? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Mezek, second by Rhodes? Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Abstain.
Mezek.
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of September 4th, 2018. Any corrections to that?
There's one correction we discussed.
Already changed
That was taken care of, yep.
already.
So, okay, good. Anything else? Motion for acceptance? By Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Abstain.
Mezek.
Yes.
You have no presentations tonight? And, this is a short one. Old business, ordinance number 9631-18.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter and accept the proposal of All Phase Service Company for the service garage generator installation and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension. Rhodes, second by Mezek. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezek.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is for the installation of the generator that was previously approved for the service department. The cost of the generator and the cost of the installation is going to be covered through funds, grant dollars from NOPEC. We received multiple quotes. One quote came in at about $13,150. Another quote was at $160 some dollars less than All Phase. All Phase was $4,900. The city's worked with All Phase on a handful of projects, local company. And our recommendation is to go with All Phase.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezek.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9636-18.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 9546-17 concerning section 913.02 of our codified ordinances entitled sewer rates of the city related to sewer rates and declaring an emergency.
It's our wish to put that on second reading. Motion for such. Janutus, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezek.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9637-18.
37, thank you. But anyway, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9547-17 concerning section 913.03 entitled rate reductions for senior citizens and the permanently disabled of our codified ordinances as related to sewer rates and declaring an emergency.
Again, it's our wish to put that on second reading. Motion for such by Saunders, second by Rhodes. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezek.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9638-18.
An ordinance replacing ordinance number 7780-05 relating to water rights in the city and declaring an emergency.
And again, our wish to put that on second reading. Motion for such by Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And ordinance number 9640-18.
Authorizing the city manager to execute a letter of intent with Gardner to initiate an investment grade audit and declaring an emergency.
And a motion for suspension by Saunders, seconded by Mezak. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike, you want that?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Our intent is to have an energy audit done on all of the city-owned facilities to determine what improvements need to be made, what improvements will dictate the quickest repayment of the investment. This $17,000 the city will not be responsible for unless we choose to do the audit and not do any improvements. Our anticipation is similar to, as earlier referenced, in OPEC dollars. We got just under $50,000 this year for various energy improvements. All the lighting in one of our facilities, the generator, the installation. The idea is to perform this energy audit, look at what improvements need to be made, and the city anticipates just under $100,000 over the next couple of years from NOPEC as well. That has to be used for energy improvements, and we will use this as our guideline and our plan to go ahead and make the necessary improvements with those NOPEC dollars.
It's a good thing done.
Yeah, I just got one quick question. Is this just for the city hall and the rec department, or does it include the service department, the sewage treatment plant, or any other
All of our
stuff?
facilities.
All of them?
Wastewater, service department, yeah.
Okay, good, thanks.
Anything else? Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Get into reports, but first I'd like to say welcome back to Mr. Bender.
Thank you.
And give our best to Garnett. And also before we start, I'd like to thank everybody for their well wishes for the passing of my mother-in-law. Certainly well received, and my wife got much comfort from all the prayers and thanks from all the people here. Thank you for that. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick reminders. We are having our deer management meeting this Thursday at City Hall right in here this week. I believe we have a speaker coming from the our Department of Wildlife. There'll be a new presentation from years past. In the past, we've had representative from the Metro Parks. This will be a new presentation. Our annual Fall Fest is going to be coming up October 6th. Please mark that down. There's going to be a lot of new activities. Our staff have worked very well to really solidify partnerships with the Metro Parks, with Solid Waste District. So there's going to be a lot of other organizations that are going to be having a table and a booth there. So please stop out to that, as well as the kids, pumpkins and everything else. I want to commend one of our staff members, Lieutenant Harding in the fire department, who is actually down helping with the rescue and recovery or rescue efforts from Hurricane Florence. I know Brian was recently on some of the news channels. He's a tremendous guy. I know he's going to represent the fire department and the city well, and I wish him well and safe travels, and definitely proud of him. We have a sounding company. The city works with a company called Leak Seekers. We've done it as long as I can remember, at least the last 7 years. And they go around town with equipment to look for water leaks that we may not be able to detect with our equipment. They're going to be around town. They're driving in I think it's a blue, side-by-side kind of 4x4. vehicle. If you see them, that's the company. They're going to be out for a couple weeks sounding the entire distribution system, identifying where those leaks are, and then we'll circle back and make those repairs. A lot of the times they identify real small leaks, particularly on valves and connections that we may not know about until it's a bigger issue. So this is helpful for us to get in there before we get the big breaks. So they're going to be out. If you see who they are, they're not someone just messing around in an ATV. They're actually performing work for us. We did have a pre-construction meeting for the Lincoln gas main that's going to be replaced. I believe that project won't start until end of this month, beginning of October, only because we've requested that the previous project down at Broadway and Taylor be completed. The asphalt should be finished around September 22nd. And Dominion was very receptive to some concerns that came up in the past, as well as moving forward. Our biggest thing is, if there's issues, if you experience issues, please let us know. Even if it's to walks, your aprons, we have pre-con video of the project before they start. So if they damaged your apron, we're going to see it in that video and we can address it then. I will tell you, they've been very responsive. They've come out, they did replace a resident's apron on Blaine. They did some work for one of our businesses that had damage to their walks. So, they're trying to make a concerted effort to they understand it's an inconvenience, but it's a necessary inconvenience. So look for that project to start in October. I do have a notice, and we're going to try to get the word out some more, of an upcoming rail closure, West Grace. We were notified by Norfolk Southern that West Grace is going to be closed on September 24th. They're going to be making some necessary repairs. I don't have the time frame for those repairs, don't know how long that closure is going to be, but we'll try to get that information out as it becomes available. But September 24th, they are closing that street. And lastly, for those that may inquire, and Councilman Fluharty, I know we briefly spoke about it, there were some concerns about street lighting and the process to get additional street lighting, and whose call is it? Ultimately, it would be First Energy's decision to put up a street light where there isn't one now. That would also come, they don't act on their own. They would follow up from notice from the city. Typically, it's not a rubber stamp. Obviously, there's a process, and that process includes, the engineers. They have to go out. Is there already a pole in place that they can mount a light? Is that pole tall enough? Is the pole sturdy enough? Is there adequate electricity going to that location? All of this is determined, and then First Energy will make the decision to put that up. They only do it if the city requests it, because ultimately, the city's going to pay a bill for that light every month. So it's got to kind of go full circle. They said it's usually, when the city would request a light, it's not a guarantee. 70% of the time they may be able to make it work. But they're pretty familiar with their area. They try to have the most adequate lighting as possible. He did indicate that, for entering suburbs of cities like Bedford, that has large trees in the tree lawn, we can go out and trim them. But they have made recommendation in other communities to say, listen, the best alternative is not lighting. The alternative is to start taking some of those large trees down. I think that's a decision collectively too that we would need to talk about as well. I know there's a lot of people that don't want the trees taken down. Do we put more lights up? There's a lot of different things I think to look at. So PD did check out that area, Vic, in the evening. I do have that report. I'm going to share that, and then ultimately we'll make that decision as far as First Street. Okay? And I will get that number, and I will make that follow-up. End of report. Sorry.
How about an update on Elwood?
Elwood, we talked about that last meeting. You weren't here.
I
Sorry.
wasn't.
Yeah, we're in the final stretch. All the drywall for the most part has been completed. It's been mudded. They had someone come out from the one company that was helping them identify painting colors. Our staff is going to be starting the painting, and then the carpeting will go in. We're in the home stretch. I'm still reluctant to give a specific date, but it's going to be soon.
Thank you. Mr. Law Director.
Thank you. Just wanted to thank everybody for coming to the Goats Ride, and hopefully the Browns can win a game this year.
Miracles.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Mr. Finance Director.
At our staff, finance, almost everybody went last week to training for we had purchased a new upgrade 2 years ago in regards to our finance software, and we're going to have another upgrade again. This one at no cost to the city, however, it's substantially different. So processing will be the same, but there's a lot of changes that had to be looked at and we learned about when we were down there this last week. So we spent 2 days down there. Also this week I'll have, it seems like it's all one time, then we're going to have our sessions on Ohio GFOA this week in regards to financial reporting and what's recorded there. I'm happy to announce that Tessa did have her baby and is doing fine. So, we've been short in our department since she went on maternity leave. So right now, wish her the best in her family. So it's doing real well. Other than that, we're still going through tax work. We're trying to keep up there, and we do have a lot of collections that we're going through right now at this point. Other than that, we are looking at perhaps a new program for online system this year. As you know, we were pretty much band-aiding the old one for the last 2 years. It's 15 years old already, written in some older language, so it's hard to keep that going with the state changes and everything. It's kind of hard, but we found something that might be relatively inexpensive and does the trick and even better. So that's what we'll be looking at shortly. Had a demo of that the other day, and with some training to the public, I think we can look to implement that. I'll ask council for that approval because the price is right now. So it's the end of my report.
Thank you. Mr. Janutus.
Thank you. No report.
Thank you. Mr. Fluharty.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 3 shout-outs tonight. One is happy birthday to my oldest daughter, Kim, born today, 9/17/79, and my oldest son was born 9/17/80. So I had 2 kids within 1 year on the same day, and that's kind of hard to do, I know. I did try for the 3rd one that day, but it did not work. He ended up being 10/20/83, but I was close. But anyhow, that was my 2 shout-outs for my family, and also this weekend, class of 1973. We have our class reunion. That is my class. We're going to be introduced at the football game Friday night, and then of course head down to Cernas and the Pompeys, and then Saturday dinner out in Twinsburg, and then Indians game on Sunday. So it's a full weekend of former classmates coming back to Bedford, and I'll have a lot to talk about now that I'm involved with a lot of things around here to show these people that we're still doing good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders.
It's just a couple things. First thing I'll say is go class of 73, because I graduated in 73, but not from Bedford though. But I know almost a lot of the people who did, so. I wonder if Jimmy DeMore is going to show up.
No, he isn't.
Because he's also the class of 73.
Thank you for bringing that up.
In any case, let's start with the Lincoln East Ohio Gas Dominion stuff. Who's going to do the notification of the residents? Is it going to be Dominion, or is the city doing it?
They're gonna send a notification, but it comes to us prior to for review, and we're anticipating that. But
Okay, are they going to pass it out at least a week or 2 in advance rather than the day before they start?
Normally.
Because Washington, they passed it out the day before they started. So
We'll look into when it goes out.
it would be nice if they got
I
notified.
mean, the
ahead of
project
time.
started to notify of when they want to switch.
No, when they actually start the project.
Oh, yeah.
Because people are gonna have to make accommodations for that too, because parking on the street's gonna be tough. There may be blockages of driveways at certain times. The tree lawns are gonna get torn up, a lot of that stuff, and people would like to know that ahead of time, especially where they're gonna start first, is which end that they're gonna work on. All that type of thing. That should all be in the information brochure that goes out to the residents over there. As far as the water sounding, council's not immune to that. 3 years ago, they nailed me for a broken water line to my house, which cost me several $1,000s. So that company can find leaks without much problems. They do a good job. Another thing that's come up, some of the streets like Talbot and some of the hot rodding down and around and down Ennis, there's been speeding from the kids coming from the high school. I don't know if we want to put some special attention occasionally in some of those streets coming off from the high school area after or when school lets out in that time period. Just get them to get back to where they should be in a residential neighborhood. The other thing I'm going to make a reminder here is that Ward 6, which also includes Ward 5 too, have all been moved to Ellenwood for voting on November 6th. Please be aware of the fact that the parking is a lot worse at Ellenwood, especially when you're going to have 3 wards voting there now instead of using the library, which was, for my ward, very, very convenient, because when I first became councilman, we actually voted in 3 different locations in Ward 6, and we got it all combined at the library, which has worked very well for over 15 years. Unfortunately, the Board of Elections has decided that they want to consolidate everything, and we'll see how that works, but hopefully Ellenwood's done by then too. But in either way, parking will be an issue. You can avoid that, of course, because mail voting does start on October 6th, so you can request their ballots. In fact, I think the state sent out everybody absentee ballot applications, so you can do that. Granted, we're probably pretty close to 50-50 now as to how that's been voting in the last few elections. But in either case, this is going to still be interesting because the Board of Elections sent out a little yellow postcard. Now, I've found so far it's been about 50-50 as to whether the residents have even gotten their postcards, and they were sent out 2 weeks ago. So there's going to be a lot of people that don't know the voting location has changed, which means when the library opens, Sarah's going to be busy directing people over to Ellenwood, because those little postcards get lost. They get stuffed in the magazines, the mailman sticks them wherever, and people don't really look at it. I think they should have done a much better, if they were going to send out postcards, they should have went with the bigger ones so that you read it better, but so be it. So I just want to remind everybody that wards 1, 5, and 6 will be voting at Ellenwood. So good luck. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Rhodes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. Good to see you all. So, really quickly, this is Bedford's official flower. In case you didn't know, the garden club is selling them. It's the pink azaleum, and we are selling them for $5 a piece. If anybody's interested, let me know. I can deliver them tomorrow. So the Bedford Downtown Alliance is continuing to prepare plans for next year. We have our next stakeholder meeting in 2 weeks, or actually in a week, next Wednesday. If anyone's interested in attending and participating as a stakeholder, we would appreciate it. We also are now, as I mentioned, I think at the last meeting, we're now a 501c3, so any donations that are made to the Bedford Downtown Alliance are tax deductible. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
When and where, or what time and where for the Wednesday meeting?
We will be, this time, we're going to try to meet at the Bedford Falls Cafe at 7 p.m., but it's not a hard, that's not a hard location yet. So if you're interested in attending, please let me know, and I can let you know 100% when we confirm that location.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Spinks?
Yeah, just 2 weekends ago, we had the Celebration Art Weekend with Puka. Yes, the weather was absolutely atrocious. It was horrible. No, we are not going to move our event. Last year we had 80-degree weather, and in the past it's just been, you never know. I've seen with the Strawberry Festival the second weekend in June, we've had cold weather, and just so our event will stay the second weekend of September, as it has been for the last several years. The Friday night event was wonderful. It was very well attended, and a big thank you to Billy and Sean, Billy mainly, for making that square so beautiful. There were so many people stopping while I was up there Thursday and Friday, working and getting the tent ready for the big Friday night event, stopping and taking pictures with their families, and even with the rain and stuff, people were talking about. So had to put up very little decorations on the square itself because the square is so beautiful, and Billy just does such a good job. And Sean, big shout out to Jeff over there, is one of our auxiliary police officers. Pitched in Sunday. It was so muddy in the art tent, and I literally lost my shoe several times stepping in mud. But the artists stayed with us, and still several of them had a very successful weekend. Big thank you to the mayor, who is always my sidekick on this event, and worked very hard, him and his wife, Marilyn, and my husband. Thank you very much, Bob, for all your work. He was actually my sous chef for Friday night event. I cooked, and it was really good. Big thank you to Heather's husband, Jeff, for the Boy Scouts, local Boy Scouts, who were absolutely just such polite young men. They made our event really shine because they jumped in, they unloaded the vendors' cars for them, they set their tents up. They were just polite young men, and thanks to your husband and the other troop leaders for doing that. All the vendors were very happy and says, wow, we've never been treated. We've been to so many big events and everything, and usually, the artisans are left on their own. They'll take care of the artists, but they leave us poor crafters and artists, and when they kind of leave us alone, they said, boy, Bedford really gave us a big welcome. So a big thank you to those young men, and Watson, very polite, your son, very polite young man, and got a lot of thank yous for that. Coming up, had our meeting, our third meeting today, also getting ready for Christmas in Bedford Falls. Real excited about that, and as of every year, something's always new added to it. Our mountain juggler, who was at our event, of course it was so rainy and everything, has volunteered to come to the event, and he asked me, he said, well, can I please do something, since y'all paid me, can I do something? Y'all have something coming up in the city that I can volunteer some of my time? I said, I so happen to do Christmas in Bedford Fall. We could always use a juggler. So John Flowers, I want to thank him very much for donating some time. He'll be at Christmas in Bedford Falls. If you have time and you'd like to volunteer, please see Dot Swindy. What she needs volunteers for is on the Christmas tree lighting. They need people to pass out brochures, information about Christmas in Bedford Falls. So if you're interested in being a volunteer for a very, very fun event, please see Dot. They're needing volunteers for that night, and then you can contact her if you're able to help them that day. Mike, last week, I was under the weather, so I was sitting in front of the window in Bob's recliner, and there was a group, and I did receive a couple of calls, a group of young ladies, young girls, that were going door to door, and I did notice, I read on Facebook that also it wasn't just my neighborhood, it was several other neighborhoods knocking on doors, ringing doorbells and stuff, and
Yellow one? Did they have
no,
yellow
they
vests
didn't
on?
have yellow on, no. They had like what, the ones that I saw running around in my neighborhood had lime green t-shirts. So I did ask around the schools to see if maybe, you know, sometimes they sell candy bars this time of year or something like that. I had thought, I know last year at Haskett, the students were told not to go door to door. I didn't know, I don't know if you, I guess you didn't receive any more phone calls about
I'll
that?
check.
Did you get some too, Paula?
They were selling, they were carrying tote boxes and going door to door also, and I asked if they had permission, she says yes with the police department. Cause that, I'm a stickler for that, if you don't have an ID identification on you or you're not, you know, cleared through the police department, I asked them to please leave. But there was two girls, like you said, one was a blonde and the other one had dark hair, but she was on the other side of the street. They were selling like things for toys or just different items that we really don't need. And I just declined because it's nothing, but I think they had candy in those tubs too.
Yeah, well, one stayed at mine, and she rang my doorbell, and I literally had no voice, so I couldn't talk. And, so finally I went to the window and I banged on the window like, go away. So yeah, I didn't know.
I'll check and verify.
Okay, because like I said, I know last year when I volunteered, when I worked with the mentoring network, Haskett had sent out a thing stating for the 7th and 8th graders not to be doing that. They had several, you know, throughout the years had several fundraisers, and they asked that just, you know, get your parents to take the sheets to work with them or do it that way, or if a parent goes to a friend or something, but not have your kids going door to door. So I didn't know, so I read some of the other residents.
Had that at my house last night, Cindy.
Okay, was it young, someone young?
It was a mother and a young child, and they were selling candy bars.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Mike, I thought that, that wasn't,
I'm gonna check.
Okay.
Yeah, just check.
okay. That's it, end of report. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the vendors are supposed to have an ID from the police department, because I chased the number of them down and told them go get their ID and come back to me before they go anywhere.
Now, is that any for the young kids too, like school age?
The only ones that don't have to is religious and political. Anybody else has to be registered with the police. And they, in the past, they give them a lanyard with an ID that says Bedford Police on it, and they slip their business card in. If they don't have that, tell them go away. Tell them go get it.
Like I said, I know
That's for the protection of the citizens. Because this, a mother and a little kid selling candy sounds like a scam to me, but maybe not. But
well, it's dangerous.
I'm sure they didn't have
Kids
permission.
go door to door, because you don't know whose door you're gonna be knocking on.
I know, it's for the safety of
Okay,
our
all right, well, just,
citizens.
all right.
Yeah, please insist, let them show you that badge that says Bedford Police on it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Mezak.
Well, first I'll say thank you to the mayor for the first of the month for the meeting. Unfortunately, it was a hard thing to deal with, but we did get through it, but there's no place like home right here for me. I'll tell you that right now. Mike, I want to touch on two things you mentioned. You had the railroads coming out to work on the tracks, shut down West Grace, and you said that's Norfolk and Southern. Why don't they consider those black wrought iron grades that are going down there? It makes it a little bit more quieter than the banging of a broken railroad tie. And also the ones up at the top for the wheeling, that broken tie is down to toothpicks. It raises when the car goes over, or it drops down when you go over it the opposite way. That has been neglected since the last time I talked to you, and that was over a year ago. We also wanted to bring up a couple of questions into this too. You mentioned Ellenwood, that was my one thing. Did Sean happen to go down Greencliff and check out those rolling curves, and especially by you, because I need some more closure on that, because a lot of them became granulated because of the salt truck plus the traffic. And when the street sweeper comes, he gets the stones up, you know, and the residents don't they're not happy with that. Also, the incident at Bayberry, where the car drove into the resident's home, did the man get charged, or was he a resident also? We wanted to find out whether, because we didn't get any more information other than what you said, because it did happen at midnight, and we got a message at 7.
Yeah, he was charged. I don't believe he was a resident,
All right.
but I'd have to verify that.
And lastly, I have one for you, Councilman Fluharty. Do you know what today's date, September 17th is? Beside the birth of your 2 children?
Yeah, it's the day I bowled a 298 too.
It is actually Constitution Day and Citizenship Day. As of the signing of the Constitution of the United States on September 17, 1787, the Constitution or Citizenship Day is an American federal observation that recognized the adoption of the United States Constitution and those who have become U.S. citizens. Also, September 17th, the day of the in 1787, the delegates who signed the Constitutional Convention, they signed that in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we have 3 days, 3 things to be really proud of. Your kids and various.
We knew that, we just went.
And a report.
Thank you. Takes us back to Mayor Posick days where we had a history
I
lesson.
told him I was becoming a fact-finder like him. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for that. Welcome to our almost soon-to-be state rep, Juanita Brent, and thanks for being here. And also, I've seen running around town Google Maps vehicle.
Yep.
Has anybody seen that? Big, the cameras on top are bigger than the little car that drive around, so you might not even know it. You might be on Google Maps. So always smile when you're walking around town. So, we got most of the items out of the way. This is a very rare occurrence, but we have no new business. I don't know if the administration was on vacation or, no, just kidding, just kidding. No, just kidding. No, but it's very rare when we don't have new business. It's kind of a good thing if get done a little bit earlier. So we can move right to the hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment. Seeing none? Biscuit.
What?
Library, no?
We don't even have any things to TV to watch.
Yeah.
There's nothing on TV to
Well, this is a treat for everybody. Oh, you, okay.
Jeff Asbury, 71 Eldred. You were talking about the solicitors. If what I've been seeing as I've been patrolling as an auxiliary, if you see people with blue shirts on, dark blue shirts, they're generally from one of the window companies. We had some dark green shirts and they were from one of the energy companies. Neither one of them have licenses that I know of as of last Tuesday. 2 of them were shut down. I believe one said it was, the ones from the energy company, I believe, were cited and ticketed. The others were given a warning. So if you do happen to see them, a lot of them now are having their badges, but they're not issued by the city. They're issued by the company that they work for. So don't be fooled by that. If it doesn't say City of Bedford,
They also tend to say, oh, it's in the car.
or we just had our pictures taken, it's in the system, how long does it take?
Yeah.
440-232-1234, and an officer will be sent out.
Yeah, they do come check,
Yes.
and, yeah, it's a good thing to have.
They're annoying.
Barbara McDaniel, 186 Center Road. I'm just wondering, we have plans to stripe the main streets?
Yes.
Because that is a dangerous curve going up on Broadway to Rockside. When it rains, if you aren't familiar with that road, you can really get scared.
Yeah, plus, and everybody shortcuts that
Yeah, I
corner
mean,
too.
We've been out doing the small striping, and then
Right.
council passed
And
legislation.
I know crossings were, but,
They passed legislation for a company we're working with that's doing the long lines, and we're coordinating they're actually coordinating it with when they're gonna be doing other cities, as well as we're wrapping up some crack sealing in that on Rockside Road, and then then they'll
yeah,
be.
because that
So it should be-
especially
it should
is
be
kind of
anything else.
dangerous there if you're not familiar. So, just thought I'd mention it, seeing you have nothing else.
Thank you.
Kathy Williams, 491 Lamson. So the status on the forensic audit. What is it?
Can't tell you everything about it, but I can tell you they're finished. Perhaps. I leave that up to the state. The state picks up everything and takes care of everything from here on out. We have nothing to do with it.
Do we have to
Never
pay
did.
for it?
Yes, we did already. Continue to do so. It's all part, afterwards I'll talk to you briefly about that. I do not want that information out, nor today. I could tell you about what we paid, but I can't tell you about what we're doing.
It's still under
Not till they
The
issue.
investigation's not over yet, basically, they still have work to do.
Okay, so the audit was done, we paid for it, and that wasn't something that you had a vote on? No, because of it being what it was?
We don't have a choice.
Correct.
We can't not pay them.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'll talk to you later then. All right.
Yeah, it's still not wrapped up until they give us the
We're
notice.
not even allowed to speak about it, period, so that's basically where we're at.
And they don't tell us anything. I've not heard one word, one way or the other. And they don't have to tell us because they're the state.
And they wouldn't do that.
Anyone else? Sit down. See, when we have no new business, we got time to just visit, but to get out of here for a much shorter time that we haven't done in a long time, can I have a motion for adjournment by Rhodes, second by Mezak? Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Trojane,
Yes.
Mezak,
Yes.